Welcome to Montrose Makerspace today for February 16th, 2015. A couple things happened at the Makerspace today. I got over there at 10 o'clock and I met with Patrick. He's a local architect here in Montrose. He's going to help us with a couple of things. He wants to help us develop the master plan for the 2.5 acres, our campus around the Makerspace. There's a parking lot there, there's an outdoor activity area, there's 2 buildings, and some empty land. So, we have big plans at the Makerspace to expand it into an education mechanism, a manufacturing mechanism, as well as grow it as a makerspace. So he's going to help us develop the master plan for that. The other thing that he's excited about helping us with is developing the 1,300 square feet that's on our mezzanine for our lounge. We're also going to have a conference room up there and maybe some other private meeting areas. That's what he's really excited about. He's already seen the makerspace in a previous meeting, but this is the first time I actually got to talk to him about my concept of what the lounge is and what a makerspace is from a collaborative environment. And he got to experience something like that when he was growing up, so he really understands what the power of that kind of collaboration means to the makers of Montrose. So he's excited to get started. He said that he's going to go on vacation for about 10 days. When he comes back, he's going to get started, but he didn't wait. He pulled out of his pocket, he had a tape measure, he took a couple measurements, and we talked about the stairwell to go upstairs. In exchange for his expertise, we're going to teach him how to weld. He's one of these craftsmen that his entire life he wanted to learn how to do something, and but through his career or family or something along those lines, he put that desire, these desires of his youth, on the back burner. But now he's at the point where he's always still wanted to learn how to weld. So we're going to teach him how to do that. We welcome Patrick to the Makerspace team. That meeting ended up around 11:30. Had a little lunch. We then, I did prep work for our second board meeting, which just started at 4 o'clock. Had a little conference call with the executive team, which is Susan and Kern and myself. We talked about 20 minutes around 2 o'clock about what we were going to finalize our plan for the meeting. At 4 o'clock, I got some treats for people at the store. I brought them in. Everyone showed up. We had a really productive meeting. The executive team gave progress updates on just about everything that's happened in the last month. And even though there was about a week there that all of us had taken off to go do other things from other responsibilities, we really did accomplish a lot in a month. But we have more to do. So the team, the executive team gave us the board gave the executive team some more direction on which way to go, and we're going to follow through on that. Well, that's it for the Makerspace side. Let's talk about what happened over the weekend. Melanie and I went to Delta on Saturday as part of spending time together on Valentine's Day. We went to an antique store and I got this baby. This is a Stuart Warner desktop radio from 1939. I kind of had sworn off buying any more of these desktop radios because I have so many and I need to find new homes for them. But I couldn't pass this one up. It was in great shape. It was marked down at $20. A radio of this kind of condition in an antique store is typically about $80 to $100. But at $20, I couldn't pass it up. I couldn't let it sit there any longer. So I brought this home. It's in great shape. It's got all the original knobs. Everything is looking pretty good. The only thing it really needs work on is this grill. It's kind of loose. We need to pull that out and reattach that. So I got out my. I took it out of the case. I checked out the capacitors, and somebody had done some renovation work on it about 40 years ago Yeah, about 40 years ago, I could tell by the age of the capacitors that they actually put in. It looked like someone in the 60s had done that. And that's half of its life. This thing's 79 years old. So it all looked good. I went out and I got my bulb tester. This is kind of a primitive current limiter, but people that work on tube electronics use to limit the current, the inrush current, in case there's a short in one of the capacitors or something, or one of the tubes. Keeps you from blowing out the transformers in here. It all looked good. I powered it on, started working. This is a 3-band radio. The antenna, I didn't really look at it much before I took it apart. The antenna has got 3 bands. It has 3 antennas in it. It does AM and it does megacycles of 5.5 up to 18 megahertz. It turns out, I believe that's a police band and a fire band from back in those days. I don't know now. I know that you can't pick up police or fire band anymore because after 9/11, all the radio systems in the country moved over to digital trunk radios. So I don't think it's going to pick up much after that. But this is in great shape, and it works. That's great. Now here's another great thing. So I've talked about things I picked up in Los Alamos, that tube tester and that kind of thing. When I was looking for a schematic, I thought, well, I should go look at those books I got. So I dug up these books. I got 3 of these books. They're called the Ryder Perpetual Troubleshooting Manual. And what these are is, through the heyday of radio and early television, there's a lot of repair work. You could go to a repair shop and get things repaired. But they needed a schematic. So this is a Ryder, the Ryder version of that. This was published from 1935 to about 1953 or something like that in different volumes. This is volume number 9. I got 3 of these. This is one of the smaller volumes that I got. I mean, this thing in and of itself is probably about 500 pages. 500 pages of what? 500 pages of schematics and pictures, troubleshooting tips, those types of things. And wouldn't you know it? In volume 9, this Stuart Warner 01-6M is in there. Is in this one. How's that for luck? So I got this radio. I think what my plans are for a lot of these radios is I'd really like to take a ADU-DP Bluetooth receiver and put these in these old radios so that you can stream off of your cell phone right onto the console radio itself. Instead of actually doing AM transmission, just go ahead and make this a streamable radio speaker. That's going to be what my goal is, to make these actually attractive from a historical perspective as well as a functional one. So that's one of my goals. The other thing we got up there was I went into a different store, thrift store up there, consignment store, and I found some of these things. Everyone kind of knows what these are. Here is a 8-track. This is Cat Stevens, Teaser and the Firecat. I've been collecting these 8-tracks. In my youth, I grew up in the 70s, and I always had cassettes. All my friends had 8-tracks, though, in their first cars. They had car stereos with 8-track players. And so I've been collecting these, the albums of my youth. And they had a lot of these up there. So I got Cat Stevens, Blues Brothers, Briefcase Full of Blues. Now here's the one that I first picked up. This is Pink Floyd, The Wall. This is one of my favorite albums. This came out in 1979. Johnny Cash, Greatest Hits. Queen, News of the World. We Will Rock You, that's what's on that. So I've been kind of collecting these 8-tracks when I see them from my youth. Most 8-track players, or 8-tracks that you find at at these kind of places, will be like Jim Reeves or full of Conway Twitty or something from a different genre than what I really want. So I took up about 5 of these and I took them up to the counter, and she said, "Well, that'll be $1." And I said, "Well, these are like 20. How much are these?" "Oh, 25 cents a piece." So Well, at that price, I had to go back and get some more. So I got a case, and in that case, I ended up buying about 30 8-tracks. And in here, I got another gem, another absolute gem. See if it's even going to come out of its paper shell. Well, it's not. Deep Purple Machine Head. Yeah, you got that right. It's got Lazy Highway Star and Smoke on the Water. This will go great with the Fog Hat Slow Ride. I know it's crazy that I get excited about this stuff, but you know, it's cool. Best of Bread. Jimi Hendrix Experience, smash hits. Oh, it's all the great ones. The Red Album, the 62 to 66 of the Beatles. Everyone knows what I'm talking about when I pull out the Red or the Blue album. What else is in here? The Monkees' Greatest Hits. Willie Nelson. Now, look at this one. Slim Whitman, All My Best. Remember those commercials in the 70s that Slim Whitman outsold Elvis and the Beatles combined? Well, we're going to have to pop this in and find out what's on Slim Whitman, All the Best. This is Montrose Makerspace today for February 16th, 2015.